one man saying that is fine. If that's your opinion and you're not in it, that's fine. But there is an entire market of millions and millions of people that agree that it is a store of value. So, you can think one thing, but there's also a market, and markets tend to become efficient over time.
We do know that you will always get paid in hex on a daily basis. And that is truly the miracle that we call hex, because it is trustless interest, trustless yield. Nothing will stop that contract from running.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Creed of Crypto. My name is Broke Boy Crypto. I have here with me, as always, my friend and co-host Crypto Ewok, and special guest tonight. It's time to get chaotic. We've got Johnny Chaos in the house. There he is. Salute to him. Do us all a favor as you guys head into the stream and hit the like button. Support PulseChain, support Real DeFi, support Johnny as our guest tonight. I think it is, Johnny, you'll have to correct me, I think your third appearance on the show, from what I can remember over time. I mean, you get around.
I think it's three. Yeah. Well, that's what I've always done, is try to support other channels and help promote other channels to get you guys the views, you guys out here that are doing the work that want to do this work.
Yep.
So
well, we appreciate you being here.
Doing it. I got to do this. All right. So before we get into anything, and I'm trying to remember from the last time we spoke, this is the spooky season, and I'm going to get this out of the way right now. It's October the 8th. I'm sure this is the height of your business in terms of what you do on a daily basis. There's probably your favorite month of the year, Johnny, I imagine. I love horror movies. I need to get a straight answer from you. Give me top 3 to 5 horror movies for you all time.
Number 1, most scariest, Exorcist.
Not a lot of arguments there.
Comedy. I like Return of the Living Dead too. That was a great one. I met William Stout, and I've got a book laying around here somewhere. I had him sign all like the art, and I met Alan Tarman, who was the Tarman. And his funny name is Alan Tarman. So there's my second. I liked the original Howling. I thought that was magnificent for its time. Cult classic, American Werewolf in London.
Okay.
And you can't go wrong without a little of Army of Darkness.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I have not seen. I haven't seen American Werewolf in London, and I really should have by now. I don't think you're gonna have a lot of arguments with The Exorcist. The fact that movie came out in 1973, like if that were in theaters right now, it would scare the shit out of everybody.
It's The Omen. The Omen was a good one too. Very good psychological horror. A newer psychological horror that I liked was Into the Mouth of Madness.
Have not seen that.
That one's pretty interesting, and it's based on the principle of speaking things into existence.
Okay.
How the mind, so to speak, creates reality, and when the majority believes something to be true, it is true. So people, so it's a pretty interesting. Oh man, somebody left out. Yeah, I can't leave out Lost Boys. I love Lost Boys.
I don't know Lost Boys either, man. Okay.
No, you gotta watch Lost Boys. And Salem. It's hard for me, dude. Salem's Lot was brilliant. The Lost Boys, I really enjoyed that because I got to go to like the Lost Boys reunion. With Corey Feldman and Corey Haim and the original actors that played the Lost Boys.
That's awesome.
So, and literally,
Is that really it's not really a horror movie though, is it? I mean, that's
it
more
is. It is. It absolutely is a horror movie.
Okay.
But it's kind of Goonies, but horror,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, little bit of that to it, but definitely a horror movie, and it was a good one. But yeah, so the guy who wrote the theme song is Tom G. Mack. Wrote the theme song "Cry Little Sister" for Lost Boys. Came out into the hallway and played it acoustically, and Corey Haim was playing on a bongo, and the whole crowd was singing it. So that was really awesome. And the saxophonist that plays on stage in the Lost Boys movie, I met him too. His song was "I Still Believe." He plays it in the Lost Boys. But so I met a lot of the people that were part of that whole thing. So that was kind of cool.
Are you a David Lynch fan at all?
Am I what?
David Lynch. Are you familiar with him? Director? Okay.
No.
All right. Never mind. Not necessarily horror, but kind of horror adjacent. Good stuff. I love like slow burn horror movies. Like there's a movie called The Invitation that came out in 2015. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Ends up being somewhat cultish. Maybe the people in it, you could argue, are hexicans by the end of the movie. Psychological, slow burn horror. As far as like classic horror movies, The Shining has got to be way, way up there for me. I mean, I love Stanley Kubrick. So, yeah. Ewok, you have a favorite?
No, not really. I'm not a huge horror movie fan. Just haven't watched them. Easily. I've seen, I wet the bed. So, yeah. David Lynch, he did that Twin Peaks stuff, right?
Twin Peaks, one of my all-time favorites. Yeah,
that was just a weird whole series, but it was really good.
Yeah. So. All right, so we will move on from that, just our introductory chat. But we'd love to hear from you guys in the chat, favorite horror movies as well. But let's get off on this. So, I mean, every single show the beginning of our podcast years ago, Ewok and I start out talking about the market, looking at Bitcoin, looking at Ethereum. And Johnny, I'm just interested in your kind of thoughts before we get into PulseChain and Hex stuff a little bit later on this cycle. It's been very weird. It's been basically Bitcoin only for the entire cycle so far. 2024 was a great year for Bitcoin. 2025 continues to be the same. We've not really seen Ethereum run. It hit a new all-time high a couple of weeks ago for about a 2-hour period on a Sunday, and we're still waiting for it to come back. So I'm curious for you. You can take it whatever direction you want, then Ewok, any follow-ups you have. But where do you see this cycle ultimately going, I guess, in terms of price and time when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum? Because they're two different things. And a lot of people obviously are still upset because we just haven't seen Ethereum or altcoins really take off so far. So what are your thoughts on both of those?
Well, it depends on where you want to call we are at the cycle. We're going into a new cycle, and I don't think we're not starting it with a bull. We're starting it with a waiting room. So, everybody's watching the clock, waiting for a specific time to take over. What needs to take over is retail needs to show up. And for retail to show up, retail's got to have money. And if retail doesn't have money, they're not going to be buying crypto with it. They're going to be buying what they need. So we're not seeing any kind of exuberance. We're not seeing any kind of irrationality. The only thing that we are seeing is institutions putting their hand in the cookie jar and getting a hold of some of this new crypto stuff and, stacking their bags, right? So they're doing what crypto was actually designed to avoid. So we're actually witnessing very much the institutionalization of the top coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and some of the other ones that they're putting their interest in because it's what they're familiar with right now. And crypto was meant to get rid of the middlemen. It wasn't meant to be a banker's tool. It was meant to be the people's tool. And you've got Bitcoin that is now, like 51% is mined by 2 companies, right? So you're not even actually a participant. You're just a consumer of somebody else's product at this point. and they are marketing that product, and they're doing well at it, you know. But yeah, I don't think this is a bull. I'm not seeing bull run mentality. All I'm seeing is institutions moving stuff around. So honestly, I just think we're in a big waiting room. Something's got to give, something's got to break, and we got to get this thing running. And it's always the worst part, because most of your time in crypto is going to be sitting and waiting. Everybody jumps on for this lotto ticket that they think they're going to jump in and jump out and make lots of money. But the fact is, most of your time is going to be waiting in crypto, and nobody tells you that, you know, and nobody's excited until after the thing goes up 10x. But you watch how quick everybody's mood changes with the 10x.
Oh, sure.
Everybody's mood is completely changed then. After your dollar is now lost 90% of its purchasing power, by the way. So that's the part that people really don't get. They're like, oh, well, I'll just buy on confirmation. Well, when you buy on confirmation, if it doubles, you've lost 50% of your purchasing power. Just on the first double, your dollar has lost. You're going to get half the coins that you would have gotten just on the first 2x. And people don't get that. If they're worried because they're down, well, guess what? If you double down at the bottom, it doesn't really matter what you did. If you take your $1,000 that you've got in there and you double down at the bottom and you get a 2x, you can pull that $1,000 back out. Now you're in for $1,000 at a lower entry level. You've broken even. You're not waiting for this magical number in the future to break even. You've already done it, right? And Hex on Ethereum has given you 3 chances to do that now. You've had 3 chances to double your money. So, where everybody's whining and bitching because everything's down, well, you had 3 chances to double your money, and that's since April. So, I was trying to tell people how to write their bags and get out of the hole that they're in. It's a lot easier if you only got $100 in. You're mad because you lost your $100, right? Then if you got $100,000 in, because putting $100,000 in at the bottom is a little bit extreme, but that's why you can't just FOMO in and follow the crowd, But no, I don't think we're the answer to the question is we're not in a bull market. Retail isn't here. I think everything's delayed between 6 and 12 months. I honestly really do. I don't think we're going to see some kind of weird top at the end of this year. I think that we're going to go well into next year. And, it could be May before we see what's considered the top. But most people won't make it that far anyway, because they'll sell it a lot far before then.
Ewok, you have any thoughts on that? Because we've talked about this for a while, and I like where Johnny's coming from it at, because you're not. I feel like so many people are hung up on like all the definitions of like super cycle, extended cycle. It's a 5-year cycle. Like everybody wants to like get the narrative that they're making up correct, whereas you're just observing, and you doesn't seem like you're married to anything. You're just seeing, is euphoria here or not?
There's no exuberance. Like, Bitcoin's the all-time highs and still nobody cares.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, even the rest of crypto, look at the views on like Ivan on Tech and stuff. They're like slashed in a 10th. So you're not getting that new retail. You're not getting those new people coming in going, where do I get it? How do I do it? How do I do it? It's not exciting enough yet. Right. And the thing with Bitcoin, okay, what you bought it at $100,000. So now it's $120,000. So you made 20%. These big numbers get people excited, but it really might honestly take like a $500,000 Bitcoin for people to go, oh my God, it's worth $500,000. I don't think there's enough to get people excited right now.
Yeah, the way I've seen it too is just it's kind of very lackluster. Everything's been just blah. You're right. Retail's not here yet. We were talking about this before we started, about how COVID was a special situation where everybody got $1,000 checks, and people weren't traveling, people weren't driving, they weren't doing anything to spend it. Everybody got together in chat rooms, and were, especially when Hex was born, the whole Hexakin army we were all together online a lot. So
we had nothing better to do.
Better to do. And everyone took that money and invested it. And when you have that many $1,000 checks out there that are going into the same place, it makes a big difference quickly. But yeah, we're just not seeing that yet. And every time Bitcoin even makes an all-time high, it pulls back immediately.
And
It
nobody
doesn't
cares
keep
either.
running. So the sellers are not exhausted yet. So the traders are doing what traders do, and that's what we're seeing kind of all over the place. Even when e-hex had made up to that whatever level it was a 0.003 something, it double topped, it pulled back. So the traders are still really in control of a lot of this stuff. And until we get more retail, like you said, people trying to, taxi drivers talking about it, and your Uber driver mentions, hey, what do you know about crypto? Because now they're in too, and they want you to buy what they bought. So yeah, we're just not seeing it yet, unfortunately.
No, it's just literally institutional manipulation, and they're buying the bags. I mean, if you want to, if you really want to look at it, why is our prices going down? Look out! Are you guys buying out there? I'm watching you guys. Are you guys buying? Are you buying? You all wanted everybody to go over to. You buying on the Pulse side? Are you buying over there? Just wondering. I'm not seeing it, but okay.
Yeah. Well, we know what happens when price goes down. That means more people are selling than they are buying. So
absolutely,
it's there. You can't lie, right? The price doesn't cover for you.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of exhausted people out there that have likely just quit. Like, I think they've probably, which is really, I mean, probably good for us soon. That they're just hanging out at this point. People are just exhausted, I think, on both sides. And to what you were just saying, Johnny, like about the retail vibes and everything, I actually think 2024 seemed more like that than even this year so far. Like, we do have Bitcoin at all-time highs and stuff like that, but again, it's just Bitcoin. That's not what the layman is, that wants to, get rich quick. And when that, like it or not, that's kind of the psychosis of retail whenever they get here. But in 2024, we had all these Solana seasons happening, for better or worse. I mean, like, Solana was a big thing, pump fun, all these meme coins. A lot more casuals in my day-to-day life were aware of crypto even in 2024 than this year, as weird as that is. I don't know if you guys share that sentiment at all, but yeah, and I'm with you 100%. I mean, yeah, and Tam shout out in the chat is right. We've had Access to Live on the show a few times over the last couple of years. He's been talking about 2026 as a possibility, and I think what you're saying is right, Johnny. We have to look at what's going on with macro. We just had our first rate cut in how many months? Well, since the Trump administration, we just had our first rate cut in September, and it seems we're guaranteed to get more months and months and months in the future. Jerome Powell is resigning. I believe it is in May of next year. Trump likely installs, however he can. I mean, the Fed's the Fed, but somebody that is more likely to cut interest rates. And we haven't really seen the money printing in earnest yet. So, yeah, I mean, just kind of laying it out. I don't know if you have any final thoughts on where this cycle can go. And yeah.
So this analogy has been solid, and here's the thing. The party's coming, but we're too early. And the dancers haven't arrived yet. The DJ hasn't arrived yet. They've not served the dishes. They've not brought the bar hasn't opened. We're way too early to the party. We know where it's going to be. We're trying to get in position. We're trying to be there. But if you show up way too early, what are you going to do? You're going to sit and wait. Or you're going to get bored. You're going to leave. And then your friends are going to text you with this was the party of the lifetime because you got bored and you left. And I mean, that's kind of where we're at, right? There's nothing we can do to speed up the macro situation. There's nothing Richard can do to speed up the macro situation. With Solana, that was pretty much, they paid a lot of influencers and they funneled all that money in one place. And then it got burned up and barely anybody made it out with anything. And that's the problem. When nobody makes it out with anything, where are they going to go with their last couple dollars that they got left, right?
Well, they're going to quit too.
It becomes a meat grinder, right? Yep. Some of this institutional funneling becomes a meat grinder, and then the people get chewed up so damn bad they don't have anything. They don't have any money to even go and explore anything else. Plus, they've had the bad experience of going through the meat grinder. Now they don't want to do it at all. So, yeah, I mean,
yeah. I like something that you just said. So, and I want to drive this home because obviously, as you know, being here for 5, 6 years at this point, as far as Hex community, it's a silo, much like many other areas of crypto. I mean, people have a tendency to not be able to look past their own nose. And you just mentioned, like, it's a business cycle, it's the liquidity cycle, all these things. Richard Hart can't even do anything about it. I want to kind of, I didn't plan on really getting into this, but I want to ask you your thoughts on that because Ewok and I talk about it all the time, left and right. You know, if you, and I know you're not afraid of the block button, Johnny, but on Twitter, I mean, you will see people that are just, hey, Richard Hart win. It's time to come out of the shadows, my man. Why aren't you like, you know, as if they have some control over what he's going to do or that they have a better idea of what to do than he does.
Yeah, he's a billionaire. You guys aren't. Shut up. It's over. You know, just shut up. You know, there's no point in arguing. You're not going to change anything about what he's going to do. All you're going to do is make an ass of yourself and just get blocked. And then he's not going to care. Look, I've got 36,000 followers, right? I blocked like 100 and I got them all to come out and talk shit and wave their logos. And I'm like, you know, thanks guys. I made it so easy for me. Now I can identify all of you. Thank you so much. Cause now I don't have to stumble across your garbage anymore. Block, 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 block. So, you know, if you got three times, or if you got 10 times that amount, people don't understand this, right? You are wasting people's valuable time bitching up a storm. If I give 100 people 5 minutes a day, okay, that's an 8.5 hour day. Just giving 100 people 5 minutes of my time a day is an 8.5 hour day. God, I hate Twitter. It sucks. Yeah, I lose days of time of things that I should be getting done when I get sucked into these stupid conversations that I shouldn't even be having. So absolutely, if I've got somebody that's just wanting to fight, go fight over there. I don't got time for you. I got people that want answers. I got people that have questions, and I'm trying to do the best I can and give them a 5 minutes, out of my 100 people I got to talk to, right? So no, I don't have time for it. I can't imagine Richard in his position having 10 times the amount of followers and then 10 times the amount of hate and having to deal with all that garbage. Yeah, absolutely. Be polite or don't, or don't, but you're not going to change his mind. You're not going to change the market. You're just venting. It's all going to be stuff that a 5X, and guess what? Your whole attitude changes. You're gonna have lost for what? You think that 5X isn't coming? When we're actually in a bull market, that 5X can come like that, and you don't even know what the hell happened. You missed the first 2X, that could be the difference of a 50X or 100X, just based on missing that first 2X. You missed the first 3X, that if you just get a 10X that follows that could be a 30X, but instead you come in after the first 3X, you only get a 10X. 30X is a big difference, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, that's why we've been preaching, DCA.
Absolutely, because you don't know when the bottom is.
Exactly. And we still may not have seen it. You said
it was the bottom. Well, nobody knows where the bottom exactly is. The only way to catch the bottom is to put a little in as you go down and lower your break-even price. It's going to be a lot better than buying at the top, riding it all the way down, and then going about halfway up and going, I quit, and still losing. It makes the ride a lot easier when you've reduced your entry price. And then it just makes the ride a lot easier.
Makes it more fun too.
Yeah, once you get there. And you made a point earlier, Johnny, about like how when you're in this market, like what nobody understands unless you've really been through a cycle is it is what 95%
waiting.
Nothing. Yeah.
Waiting, yeah.
And nothing going on.
Yeah. And the upslope is so quick. On average, I've mentioned this many, many times, but literally it is between 6 and 9 weeks on average of up only. And it's quick. If you blink, you miss it. And like Johnny said, if you miss those early entries and get in when it starts to go up, you've already missed several X most likely. And that hurts the hell out of your profit.
Yeah, the big point that I want to make is I said it earlier, is you have to understand that not buying the bottoms, your dollars are going to lose purchasing power. Your dollars will lose purchasing power on the way up. On the way down, yes, it sucks that the price is still going down. You feel like every time you buy, the price goes down, but you haven't experienced the bull market yet, where you can throw $30,000 in and barely move the amount of units that you actually have. You could literally like, oh, here's $30,000. Look, I got another 10,000 units. Yay. And right now you're talking, you can buy millions of units, right? So until you experience it, I don't know how to prepare people for that, to know that their dollar is not going to move the needle, and it's not whatever bag size you have right now. If you don't act, forget about this. I wish I bought more, because it's too late. It is too late to visit that. You might as well accept what you got and say that's what you got and ride it out, because trying to add to your bag on the way up and momentum, you're just constantly losing purchasing power on the way up.
I was going to ask you the question that you just said, you don't know how else to simulate it. Yeah. How do you really prepare somebody for that, other than having to go through it, having failed, learning from the failure?
Yeah.
I mean, you could count, like you were just saying, your units, like how much pulse do you have? How much hex do you have? How much PulseX do you have? I mean, you could look at what your creature level is, or whatever it is else, or how many millions or billions of tokens you have, I guess. But there's just not a way to simulate like how bad it's going to feel when you can't buy as much when it starts to go up. I don't really know how else to do that.
Yeah. There's pain of going down. Okay, well, were you planning on selling today anyway? Right. It's like the pain of going down is look, nobody likes to watch the number go down, but the pain of watching the number go up without you,
even worse.
In an empty bag and watching the number go up without you, everybody is going to do this. I wish I bought more. I wish I bought more. Why didn't I buy more? Johnny screaming at me all the time, telling me I should buy more, and I didn't believe him. I thought he was just trying to pump his bag so I could dump on my head. I should have bought more.
Or you hear I'm going to wait for a dip.
I'm going to wait for a dip. Yeah, Corey did that. Did that. But I said, Corey, you're splitting hairs at this point, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your downside? Oh, it might drop another 50%. What's your upside? It might go up to 300x. That's your upside. That's called asymmetrical risk, y'all.
Yeah. If you're not okay with a 50% dip at this point, I mean, you've already seen it before. I mean, if you've been DCAing at any point in time over the last 4 years, I mean, you've seen a lot more than a 50% dip. Yeah. So I'm with you. And I think you're so right. Like, especially if you have believed in this ecosystem for any length of time, believed in Richard Hart, and then you decide, I'm not going to DCA anymore because my feelings are hurt, or I don't like this, or it doesn't feel good anymore. When those prices start to go up, like you guys were saying, and you are not part of it, like to the extent that you could have been, I mean, it's got to be like you're in high school and your girlfriend left you for like Chad on the varsity football team or something like that. I don't know. It's not going to feel good at that point. To that point. So you were talking about Ethereum. We were talking about Ethereum and how, we can get into the e-hex, p-hex thing a little bit, however you want to, but talk about like just the fact that we've all agreed on, and Johnny said this since the beginning, like really when PulseChain launched, right? Probably even before then, like when we were just having conversations like, well, hex and e-hex have parity, all these ideas. And, we're, maybe I shouldn't, the name that we shall not mention, but Johnny used to do the streams with old F Squared, Furu Finance back in the day, before that relationship was severed a little bit.
Honestly, I was just trying to help the kid get views, just like I'm doing here. I was just trying to help the kid get some views and start his channel and get it running and stuff. And he's very green to crypto. He was basically streaming out of mom and dad's basement. It's not like he had a lot of income.
He had books in the background. I don't know. Are you sure it was mom and dad's basement? I saw books.
Yes. Okay. Mom and dad's basement. Anyway, yeah, and he's a young guy and he's got a lot to learn, and I was trying to help him out. What didn't help it was the 20 videos that followed talking shit after I went out of my way to help him. But we'll just chalk that off to this is why I hardly ever stream anymore. But anyway, the idea here was there should never been an e-hex p-hex debate, because first of all, when you're buying it, you don't know which hex you're getting. It says hex from Ethereum, right? It doesn't say e-hex. It's not called e-hex. The ticker isn't e-hex. The ticker isn't p-hex. The ticker is what? The ticker is hex. So from the very beginning, all I was doing was I was trying to run around and tell everybody we don't want to have this argument over e-hex and p-hex. We don't want to have this distinction. We don't want to have this argument. The best way to avoided the division, the confusion, the brand damage, all of that would have been to pair it from the very beginning at a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, when you say, well, that couldn't be done, well, just look at the wrapped Ethereum on Pulse and Pulse. Okay, it can be done. It's easily done. And that all comes down to the amount of coins that are in the pool. If you have both sides of the pool equal, like 10 billion to 10 billion, in order to change it from a 1-to-1 ratio to a 2-to-1 ratio, someone has to come in with another 10 billion on just the one side in order to shift it from a 1-to-1 to a 2-to-1 ratio. The other thing is with these ratios is you got to understand to hold a premium. If you want a 3-to-1 ratio, if you've got 10 billion here, you need 30 billion over here to sustain a 3-to-1 ratio. If you want to sustain a 10-to-1 ratio, if you've got 10 billion over here, you need 100 billion coins over here in order to sustain a 10-to-1 ratio. So this is why I said it's not sustainable. Though those higher ratios everybody wanted because they wanted to like pick the one winning horse game, they were not sustainable. And it would take Richard a lot more coins up to, to put into liquidity pools in order to maintain a premium of the balance. And if you look at any other coin on PulseX and on PulseChain, there's only one coin really that's at a premium. Everything else is a fraction of what its ERC20 counterpart is on Ethereum, right? Mm-hmm. So we know that's founder bias. We know that's artificially inflated, okay? And that's based on it's the hexagons prefer hex on PulseChain. But the fact is hex is hex. It's an immutable code. It's not going to change, okay? And one of them is in a very big city, and one of them is kind of on a private island. All right. If you want to maintain that value, the best way to do it and would be to set it to 1-to-1, which the OA has the coins and has the ability to do so at any time. And I said eventually he's going to come to the conclusion that that's optimal. And why did I say that was optimal? Well, there's multiple reasons for that being optimal. One of which it would be a universal conduit between chains. Mm-hmm. It would also provide, because on the other side, when you have those very large stable pools, that would allow somebody that wanted to add to the liquidity pools to earn hex on both sides. Having the pools large also decreases its ability for that to be more profitable than hex staking, because the pools being small, what they do is they create competition for the hex staking narrative. And I knew that that would be detrimental because hex needed to be the premier store of value over there on PulseChain. In actuality, a lot of PulseChain users, they don't care about hex anyway. Yep. That's the reality. They say, well, we're dumb because we thought that, Pulse was made for hex. It literally wouldn't have been made if it weren't for the S-load functions and hex. He copied the other coins over, yes, but that was because he was hopeful that, once again, Richard's got this hopeful thing. I thought Bitcoin people would like me if I gave them free coins. Did they like him? No. I thought Ethereum people would like me if I gave them free coins. Did they like him? No. So you see, he's constantly trying to give stuff out and get people to like him, and it just keeps blowing up, right? The liquidity, and then he's got his own community turning against him and saying, why isn't this working, Richard? Why isn't this working? I don't know. He keeps giving stuff out, but people keep spitting in his face. I don't know, like his own community. No wonder he doesn't want to come out, But I'm trying to think of the other attributes. So You needed a stable pool. You needed a conduit between chain. And the other big factor was the e-hex p-hex debate. Nothing has been more harmful than which one. Nothing has been more harmful than which one. Because if you give a person two choices and you try to explain the difference, like, screw it, I'll just buy something else. Okay. So the which one has been a terrible thing. And I tried to squish it before it ever happened, and I failed miserably because everybody wanted to argue over which one was better. They wanted to throw out wild ratios there, not understanding how many coins it actually takes in the liquidity to do it. Everybody was thinking their wild ideas. Everyone's saying, oh, well, Richard doesn't like that one anymore. And, everybody over here. And it's like, and that one sucks. So we're doing our own personal brand damage because only thing people are hearing that Hex sucks now. Hexicans don't like Hex anymore. Oh, and while the normal people are going, well, gee, if it can't survive on the second largest blockchain, what odds does it have living over here on this deserted island when there's just a bunch of Hexicans over there? I don't want to go over there. What are the odds? If it can't survive, if a restaurant cannot survive in a metropolis, what makes you think that same branch is going to survive on a private island by itself? And we've already seen how the Hexicans behave. They stop buying. We're not getting new people to the island. They stop buying. So you're going to start losing that premium now because people are not supporting it anymore. And not to mention, we've got 1/3 the liquidity. So it takes 1/3 less new people coming in with the same amount of money to actually move the price. And they've got no bias. They've got no bias. They're going to buy it because of brand recognition and the price going up. They've got no bias. They've got, dude, it's the thing to buy. I saw it on a tablet. I bought, I looked it up on Uniswap. There it was. I bought some. There, you don't get a chance to go around and go, no, you don't buy that one. You buy this one. Thank God we're going beyond our little ecosphere because we have caused this damage. We have caused this damage. We've caused this damage because we wanted to make it a debate. We wanted the one coin. What's the one coin I put all my money in and number go up, please? That's what I want to know. Just I don't want to do it with two coins. I mean, I don't really want to invest. I'm not planning on sticking around for very long. So if you could just please tell me the one coin to put all my money in, and I'm just going to pick just that one side, and I'm going to be all in on that one side. I'm going to say everything else sucks. Not realizing you're totally busting your own bag,
Yeah. Yeah, I still think a lot of the reason for the copying of all the coins, it was a marketing ploy, and it didn't work. It didn't work. People didn't care about the world's largest airdrop. They didn't care that they had free coins over there.
Well, they'll find them eventually. They're going to find them eventually.
But another thing that I think he might have been thinking about, Richard thinks far ahead. And the one benefit could be that if these things do become, valuable at some point, you're going to have a lot of people asking the exchanges to, hey, list my coins. I want my coins because I held them at this point and now they're worth so-and-so.
Yeah, but
I don't know if you remember.
We're actually going a completely parallel direction now. We're heading to the point where it's Blockbuster and Netflix. We're talking about Coast and being a direct on-ramp and internet money wallet and going directly into Pulse. So you got two aspects. You've got the old school, right?
Right.
You got the old school that would have to use the bridge and get across networks. Liberty Swap's making that easier to get across from all the different networks, the multi-chain interoperability, right? And then you've got Coast, which is a direct ramp. So what's going to happen is, from like the advertisement and marketing is they may never even understand that there ever was a hex on Ethereum. But for the people that are in that ecosystem, that's what they're going to buy because that's what they're familiar with.
Right.
And I know you guys watched my thing with Corey. It's like, it's not that easy to just make people move. They're comfortable. And you can't say, okay, well, you guys out there, you provide the liquidity pool, and then maybe the ratios wouldn't be so off. Well, that's great if we weren't staked. Because I promise you, as long as it's at a premium, I'm happy to trade one for more.
Sure.
But I'm not in a position to trade one for more. I mean, if y'all want to give me 10x again, I can probably emergency unstake something real quick and get the 10-1. I would take that.
Well, and speaking of being staked, I don't know that the OA even has enough to set high.
Yeah,
Still?
They still got some. Yeah, they could. But here's the thing. So if the OA continues with the handoff approach like he has been, then eventually, because of the 3-to-1 availability, right? And because it is closer to the door, it is already on the established network. And hexagons are just not buying. They're not, you guys can say all you want. I'm buying. I don't see the support on the PulseChain side. I don't see that going up. I do see you guys buying lots of other stuff. I can see you on chain dumping it for this coin and that coin and this coin because you're bored. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really seeing the support over there on that chain.
Yeah.
So that makes me worry. That makes me worry that since you're already impatient, you're already losing interest, that you're going to dump your bags on that side. And I already know you're already out of the Ethereum side because I hear about it all the time, how you don't like it. So I'm more than happy to hold over there.
I still make a brand new stake every month on both chains. So
you are a unique man, Mr. Ewok.
Well, there's a few of us out there. Somebody asked earlier when I got into crypto. It was early. It was like April of 2017. Johnny, when were you first in?
I was so in is an interesting question, right?
When did you buy your first crypto? I guess
2016.
Okay.
Yeah. So I knew about Bitcoin and the whole Mt. Gox thing, and I thought it was stupid because I was into Magic cards. So I was like way back then.
Same here.
And I had a friend that wanted to do mining before it was even when the white paper was released, before it was even allowed to be mined. So I mean, I knew like of it, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing I ever heard. I sounded just like Eric Wall. So and here's the thing, looking back at it now and looking at the concept, that was really awesome. And that's what I've been looking for, was something like Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's become so compromised. But we're talking about this. You've got to have special equipment. You got to join a mining pool. You get, you're competing for block rewards in such a way that you may or may not get paid, right? So Hex is a smart contract that pays you in Hex, and anybody can participate. It doesn't keep you out. You don't have to have special equipment. It provides passive income. You lock up your coins, you get more coins. It's not that damn difficult to understand, but how do you explain to somebody, okay, first you got to buy a $2,000 miner, and by the way, you need at least 250 of them. And then you're going to have to pay power bills until you eventually start producing coins.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, you're going to need to hook those up to like another 500 miners so that you've got better ability to compete for that block that you may or may not get. I mean, come on. Hex is a better model. It's just a different way of distribution. And it's dynamic deferred inflationary, which means if you don't do what you say you're going to do, then it gets pushed out. But I don't think Hex is good for the crypto because most of the people in crypto, they want a loophole. They don't want to do what they say they're going to do. They want a loophole, right? So it's not necessarily the right market. And that's why I'm happy that the advertisement's going out to average people and not necessarily just crypto people, because we need to find people that are collectors, that are looking for savings accounts, that aren't obsessive gamblers, that aren't just, they're counting their dollars and not their units. They're not actually trying to build a position. They're just a bunch of tourists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's actually go into that, because I wanted to talk to you about the marketing. So the PulseChain, the Hex marketing that Richard Hart's been posting about since early summer. I think it was actually Father's Day whenever he first made a post about hearing about these devices that were going to be sent out soon. Massive speculation obviously ensued since then. A lot of us thought it was some sort of LCD screen type of thing with some kind of promotional video on it. Then of course we see that it's the tablets, and quite naturally, most people are all upset about it and up in arms and writing dissertations, even to this day, today, literally, writing dissertations.
Write it up, guys. Write it up. It's more topic. It's more exposure. It's more people talking about it. It's more stuff to feed the algorithm. It's more stuff for AI to read. Curse it, make fun of it, do whatever you want to. It doesn't matter because they're going out to to a good 1% of all U.S. citizens. So.
Well, I have a couple questions about that for you. So you seem like you've had your ear pretty to the ground about like how this is going to go, how far into it sounds like 2026 these are still going to be delivered, which I think is really encouraging. And
the logistics are insane, broke boy. I mean, the logistics are insane. You got to think 10,000 units a day. Imagine packing 10,000 boxes. How many people do you think that takes? I mean, getting 10,000 units out a day is just the numbers are just staggering. And people are like, oh, it's not enough. The thing is, nobody else is doing any of this. Okay. No other community is doing anything like this. Nobody is organized. You're talking about a well-oiled machine in order to get that many products. I would pull my hair out if I was sending out 10,000 packages per month. I'd be pulling my hair out, trying to figure out where am I going to get the extra employees to do something like that, let alone 10,000 units per day, right? Pack, 8.5 hour days, right? You know, volunteers, you're not even getting paid. So what other chain out there has the volunteers and the power and the organization to put on such a thing? You know, and it's like, well, everybody wants instant results. There are no instant results. There is a compounding effect of growing network. Okay. Yep. Brand awareness works compoundingly. It doesn't work instantaneously. I understand. People don't understand marketing. That's why you don't have any money, because the money that you make is supposed to go into marketing, right? Every business has an allowance for marketing. It's all you can afford. All you can afford. Sometimes that's 20, 30% of your income that you've got to put back into marketing in order to bring the new customers in. That's how you grow a network. It's not, oh, Richard, would you buy your bag back from me, please, sir? Sir, would you buy my bag back, please? Sir, can you buy? No, his job is to get more people to come in. That's the idea of growing a network effect, because otherwise, then it's a failure. If nobody wants to come in, and nobody wants to do this, it's over, it's dead, it's gone, then that's a failure. Mm-hmm. If Richard has to do a bailout, right? He has to bail everybody out. That's a failure. That's not a success. So people got to stop waiting around for, well, Richard's got a stream. It's going to pump my back. We got macro markets to deal with. We've got the fact that retail's not here yet. And when retail does come in, we have to give them a name to look for so they even know that we exist. You cannot buy a product you don't even know exists. And by God, we know the crypto space is not doing us any favors, right? They have done nothing for the past 6 years of obstruct us. And we still got problems with, you still got problems with mail. How do you think the post office feels about getting an extra 10,000 packages per day? Right? You think they're happy about having to put one of those in everybody's mailbox? So you run into these problems. You run into these people problems, So, yeah, I mean, just be happy and say thank you. Because Richard could have walked away 20 times. Starting from when he launched Hex and the gas fees went up, he could have looked at you right then and there and said, sorry. Yep, that sucks. Take it up with Vitalik. Those gas fees really suck. You should really yell at him about that. And then he makes PulseChain. It's like, oh, we sacrificed for it. Yeah, you sacrificed for it. I'm not getting my $11,000 back for highest of stakes. The movie I got cut out of, right? I ain't getting money back for that. I ain't getting my money back from the attorney's office for filing suit against CMC. There goes $3,000, which I think was quite absorbent for what they did. But anyway, it's like, yeah, guys, you were guaranteed zero value tokens that may go up over time. You got them. You got them 4 times. Testnet 1, 2, 3, and 4. You didn't even have to get a supported network. Look at Ethereum Fair. Look at Ethereum W. They're unsupported networks. PulseChain was launched complete with a bridge, with a DEX. It has all the minimum viable products that you need in order to get in and out of the chain. Without that, it's just a testnet. You know? And a testnet would have been enough because, again, you were promised 0 value coins. And again, we're talking about SAC rate, which was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And while we're at that, you're not down for 5 years because PulseChain is only 2 years old. And I know a lot of y'all don't even own any hex out there anymore. So you can get over this. Oh, it's been down for 5 years. No, dude, you've had all this time right now to be accumulating at lower prices and reduce your entry price. When it goes up, you're going to be really mad that somebody else just came right along and just got the cheap prices because you weren't interested in supporting the price. If you're not interested in supporting the price, you can't blame somebody else for coming in behind you and buying it cheaper. If you pre-order a video game, the day of launch, it might be $10 cheaper. This is just kind of how this stuff works, right? If you know, I was talking to Ewok behind the thing. I said somebody ordered all these card sets and they were paying extra money for them. And this big buyer's going around. He's buying them all up now because they overestimated what their sales were going to be. So they bought all these boxes. Now they got stuck with them and now they're liquidating them. This is just normal markets. Mm-hmm.
I'm curious your thoughts on the actual devices as the marketing item. Like, it sounds to me like what it ended up being awesome. Wouldn't have mattered that much to you because it's, you know, low cost, you know, even if like 99% of these fail, the beauty of the kind of marketing I think that Rich is doing, I mean, you still can have a positive ROI because of how cheap these cost. You know what I mean? So yeah, what are your thoughts on the actual tablets though?
Well, it didn't matter. The only thing that mattered about the tablets, and Corey Gary said this, the only thing that matters about direct mail is they don't throw it away.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. Creating an impression and a constant impression. If it's sitting on their desk, if their kids playing with it every day, it doesn't matter. As long as they're not throwing it away, it's there. And this is where I went into talking about making them available on Amazon, because if you get something in the mail, you want to know what it's worth. So you go search it up on the internet and see what it's worth, and it'll pop up on Amazon, probably sponsored ad. You click on that, and guess what? You get a retargeting ad. It's now a cookie that tracks you everywhere. So even if you throw out the tablet, guess what? If you don't purposely delete that tracking cookie, everywhere you show up, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's whatever, you're going to have that damn tracking ad that keeps following you, and you're going to be reminded that that thing exists. So that's an additional digital footprint, and that's completely funded by Amazon on the back end of their code with the retracking code. And I do retargeting ads and stuff through my website, but I have to fund it. So, you know, it costs me $200-300 to fund the tracking cookies so that my ads can follow people around like that, you know, and then when they click it, then, you know, of course, then you get deducted from your funds that you supply for it. But Amazon does that for absolutely free for their customers because they're trying to drive all the traffic to their website. So as a part of their service, that is an additional service that you get on top of that, right? So that creates a secondary digital footprint, right? Here's another thing. Well, guess what? It gets funnier because now when people are saying, where can I buy one? You can share the Amazon link. Well, guess what? If they click on that Amazon link, they get a cookie too. So you get a cookie, you get a cookie, you get a cookie, you get a cookie. Anybody that looks at this thing gets a cookie. And guess what? That tablet is immortal. Even if none of them even existed at all, it's now immortal on the internet because of those damn tracking cookies. So yes, because it's a physical item. Yes, because it has value. Yes, it can be sold on Amazon. Amazon's distribution centers can also be utilized to sell these things, and the funding that these things make from being sold can be turned into more tablets to continue the process without coming out of Richard's pocket, right?
Yep.
So he probably didn't think of that. Wait a minute. I'm just trying to give this stuff away. Yeah, but you could give a lot more away if you don't have to spend as much to get more. So now for something like Amazon, this is great for a giveaway. This is like a total exploit in the system because it is a giveaway. You don't really care what the product sells for. You don't care if Amazon copies it. The other thing is that it will also end up on top trending items, top seller list, recommended items, Google optimization searches, Google Store. All this stuff happens as a result of listing on Amazon, and the amount of clicks that you end up generating from the buzz around this item. So yes, times have changed. Direct marketing has changed a little bit, but adding that additional digital implementation to it could amplify it 10 to 100-fold. Constantly keeping brand awareness under people's noses, whether they want it there or not. Imagine being a hater, just going to check to see what it's what this thing's selling for. Now you can't get it off your damn computer. Every time, everywhere you log in, it's still there. God damn it, the tablet is there. Oh no, I'm going to go to YouTube. Oh my God, look, there's the Amazon ad from PulseChain. Oh my God, and that happens. And unless you know how to you're not going to outbeat Amazon in their tracking cookies.
Sure.
Trust me, they closed malls because of Amazon's marketing. Amazon is 40% of all internet commerce. That gives us the opportunity to be on the world's biggest e-commerce website, which just totally dwarfs anything like CoinMarketCap or Coinbase or whatever. It totally just dwarfs those things.
I want to real quick, sorry, Ewok, because it has to do exactly with what Johnny just said. So you were talking about the Amazon stuff. I mean, what do you make of, like, you sounded a bit like Gabrielle Haynes from Twitter a minute ago when you were talking about being bothered by continuing to see these tablets because he sold his off too early. We see these people selling them on eBay. One went for $1,700 at least. I think one went for $500. Ren asked this question right here. People are not buying the actual asset. What would make them buy a physical item that represents the asset? It's happening.
Because and that's one of the things too. So Richard hates when people spend money on stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
He told everybody, he's like, look, guys, I'm buying these watches and cars and shit so you don't got to. I'm trying to get the attention here so you don't have to. Don't go spending your money on stupid shit. He would be the first one to tell you that. And the easiest way to go broke is trying to keep up with a billionaire. All right? You're not. You can't spend $20,000 on a bag. Okay. To him, that's like $2. All right. So it's not, you're not playing in the same level. And, and everybody wanted to, Richard should have got sponsorship from Louis Vuitton because like everybody was out there buying Louis Vuitton shit. You couldn't pay me to wear it. Okay. You could not pay me to wear it. Look at me. Look at me. See, you like my skulls? Are my skulls sharp? You like them? That's a $22 shirt.
I could see it on you.
Can't see it or can see it? Can you see him?
I could see you on Louis Vuitton. I could see you on some with that.
No, I'm not wearing no damn Louis Vuitton. You can't pay me.
Okay.
Can't pay me to wear that clown clothes.
But what do you think of the eBay stuff, though? Like, the virality about it, like Trevon, like somebody who's been in crypto now for, I don't know. I mean, he's a big time OG, but I mean, he was bidding on the tablet. He bid at like $720 or something like that because he understood the impact of like getting a hold of, kind of a precedent setting meme almost.
It creates a buzz. It creates a buzz and it creates a story. But I do think that we should go ahead and have them listed on Amazon so that much like the books that we have on Amazon, there's 5, by the way. There's 5 like best-selling books on Amazon that are hex-centric, right? Yep. And I bought a box of them and I handed them out to friends. So, if you want to hand out tablets to more targeting market, I know, and also if you're buying these tablets off of Amazon, then the money's going back into more tablets. So in a way, what you're doing is you're helping it continue to go, and you're not paying a large amount of money for it. It's a way to be able to support it if you feel like doing that.
Yeah, you can support it. You can give it to people. You don't have to go volunteer your time if you're not close to California. I mean, it just doubles the effort. Maybe not doubles it, but with that many people buying a few of them and giving them out to friends and saying, "Here, check this out."
Well, that, and we're utilizing Amazon's free distribution centers, because you basically just send a box to Amazon and they handle all the orders. Okay.
Yeah.
And they give you a check, and then they give you a notification when they run out.
Yep.
And Amazon will push that product for you because they want to sell it, because they get a fraction of those fees. And Amazon's all about moving product. It doesn't matter what the product is.
Exactly.
They're just into moving the numbers. And then you've got like Prime days, free shipping, all this extra stuff that goes along, and you're not paying shipping. The only shipping you're paying for is to ship the one box to Amazon, and you're getting all of their distribution for free. I mean, what better deal could you get? Now, if you're trying to do like original products and stuff like I do, you don't want Amazon to have your shit. Okay.
Right.
But if you're trying to do distribution, this is like idealistic. This is a way to, it's free distribution. And, just not even just the free distribution, but all of that digital stuff that I talked about, that's all free too. It's just kind of a no-brainer for this particular situation.
Ewok, do you have anything else on any of this or any other direction you want to go here?
Well, no, Johnny basically brought it up. I completely agree with allowing, like, sending some of the product to Amazon. Let's get it out there. There's a lot of people that want to help. Rather than spending $800, $1,000 on one of these, buy a few. I mean, if they're $10 a piece, $12, whatever they are,
give them away. Give them away on your show. You can say, I'm going to buy a box off Amazon as a promotion. I'm going to give the first 5 viewers to answer this trivia question.
Absolutely. We could do giveaways with them. Like, I'm happy to do that on our channel. Like, if we could get a box of them and do a couple random giveaways just for whatever, I think that'd be a great idea. So yeah,
you get a tablet, everybody gets a tablet. It's great. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, look at these guys. They're giving away tablets. Oh, what are they worth? Let me look that up. Oh, tracking cookie. Guess what? Now I'm never getting rid of that tablet off my screen.
I like it. I think it's been a great idea, honestly. And I would be lying if I didn't say when I first saw what they were, I was a little bit surprised. But then again, when you research the direct mail and how low the barrier for entry is, like Ewok and I have had discussions on this show for weeks now about, think about, and I'd like to hear your answer, Johnny, the best direct mail ad you've ever received. What is it? And mine was literally a cutout like keychain for a new like car shop in town that was doing like a discounted oil change. That was the best that I've ever received in my entire life. Like I saved it, actually. It stayed around my house. That's not that much. Like, that's a pretty low barrier for entry. So I'm just curious. And yours, Ewok, was what, the pet thing, I think? What was it?
Yeah, it was a tick remover from a veterinary office. They sent you this tool that was a free, and it had a chain on it with the card of a vet. So
what do we got there?
Chaotic Creation.
There's a company that constantly sends me things with my logo on it. And so this little book, here you go, before the that's got stuff written in it. So before the tablets that you're looking at, the digital kind, there were these kind. And so I would hand those out, like so I'll have customers that order from me regularly or whatever, so I would take and give them one of those, or they get a pocket knife. I've got pocket knives. I've got, pens. I've even got signs with logos. So, I mean, they've got me, because they'll send me one of these and I'll buy a bunch. The pens, I buy a bunch, and then I hand them out at conventions and trade shows, or, to my most valued customers and stuff like that. So like I've got some customers that order like barrels of material. Well, they're getting a $15 light, kind of like, it's like this, but it's my logo. So you remember when the guy from whatever was making the hex logo ones, right?
Yeah, nice.
The multi-light. I've got those in my logo, and I ordered like a limited supply of them. And for my best customers, I was just packing them in their box with their order and sending them off to them. So I'm not a stranger to direct mail marketing and promotional merchandise. I'm not a stranger to it at all. And yes, it does create relationships with people, and they do feel better about you if you're willing to give them something without any sort of request for reciprocation sort of thing, you know. And unsolicited mail is literally, I mean, it's a gift. There's no guarantee. I did have somebody send me the other day, fill out our survey. Here's $2. They sent me $2 real in the mail. That was kind of nice. Got a free extra $2 there. But yeah.
Nice. Ewok, unless you had another, I have basically one more thing I wanted to go for, and then if you want to go with anything else, Ewok, you let me know. But
go for it.
Johnny, I'm curious what you make of, you know, obviously there's conjecture about this all the time, and there's people like wallet tracking and watching money movements. But the one thing that's been, you know, prominent since the launch of the chain has been, whatever you want to call it, the Ethereum treasury, which people have like a problem with that term. You know, even, or the PulseChain treasury,
Yeah.
Ethereum strategic reserve, which, I mean, the funny thing about the people that criticize those of us who like call it that, I mean, I think Richard Hart himself was touting it that way because
it's rank.
Yeah,
it's you know, you need to think of this as about rank. This is literally like a billboard that says, hey, we got money. Because if you remember right, you had people like Peter McCormick and everybody else saying, oh yeah, Richard, we know you lost all your money, you're broke, blah 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 blah. No, that's a billboard. That's a billboard of success. That means I have this much money. Oh, guess what? I can hold this much money too. Look, guys, I don't have to spend it. Kind of like his watches there, right? It has his pile of watches. We got $10 million in liquidity. He's like, I don't need your $10 million in liquidity. I got $10 million right there. This is a status thing. This is when you've got more money than you can spend in your entire lifetime, the only thing you can go for at this point is status. So this is not, you know, this is not our money. This is a level of achievement that he is advertising that he is a success and that he has acquired X amount of money. Now, people will argue and say, well, he wouldn't have that money if we didn't give it to him or whatever. But the fact is, he made a successful chain. He raised $1 billion. This shows that the man is capable. And if he's holding that and it's there and it's visible, that shows other people that are wealthy investors that he is capable. Okay. So, and all this stuff that he's doing, you know, with updating this and updating that, does that look like somebody that's walking away with the money? No, he continues to earn that money. He could have walked away, you know, launched Pulse testnet and said, I'm done. There's your zero value coins. Bye. Figure it out. Build a bridge, build some dexes. And we had a lot of people build bridges and dexes. This is not all Richard's doing. This is a whole ecosystem. Even if completely unattended, it's going to grow and it's going to form and it's going to take its own direction, whether Richard is here or not. His validators were only running for the syncing, right? And to get the chain started out. Now everybody else is running a validator, right? Everybody else is running their own validators. Those got shut off. He's not running the network, you know? So it's just really weird. It's really weird, you know, this started out with no expectation from the work of others. It's not your money. You know, none of this money is ever going to do anything to benefit you in any way. Do we remember these conversations? So don't worry about it. Richard thinks wallet watching is absolutely disgusting. He cannot stand it, you know, and he'll use terms like, well, you can fuck it all you want. It's not going anywhere, you know? So, you know, he makes terms like that. He's a fan of privacy, and he doesn't want everybody watching over his shoulder and breathing down his neck, right? But we do it anyway, and that's detrimental too. And I'll tell you why. Because that only accounts for the money that's in the system, not the money that's going to come into the system. You are totally discounting the rest of the world. You are so fixated. And that's why that is where everybody gets blindsided. Because when retail does show up, you're like, oh, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's never going to. Where did these people come from? That's what happens. Because you can't see them. They haven't made an action yet. You can't see them. You can see everybody that's on chain and what they're doing as they're dragging their feet and pouting and whatever they're doing. You can see everybody there and all their attitudes. You can hear them. But when the buyers come in, they don't even know we exist. They don't know what price we got. They don't know what they don't know what SAC rate was. They don't know what this was, what that was. They don't care. They don't have any of that previous perform bias. They have today's price is the price. The new norm is the norm. And the new opportunity is the new opportunity. They're not going to listen to our lectures. They've got no interest in what we got to say whatsoever.
They don't even know we're here, let alone.
They don't even know we're here. And that's the thing with getting Hex and PulseChain out there into households that don't even know it exists. Because, like I said, crypto space ain't going to help us.
Yeah.
So if we want to blockbuster the exchanges, we need to get people on Coast. We need to get people on Internet Money Wallet. We need to get them directly in the PulseChain. But that is a hard task to set up your stand outside the big city and expect everybody come to your stand. That is a very, very hard ask. Okay? Fortunately, if they know about us first, we have an advantage there because they're not going to be corrupted by the greater space. But if they are already in the greater space, it's very important that we make sure that we leave a good example in their city as a shining beacon to be a welcome sign so that they're interested in the other stuff that we build over here.
So I don't know if this is what you were specifically saying, but Ren says to your response about that question, he says, I agree. I don't think he's going to use that to pump the chain. That's a little too obvious of a trade. I mean, all eyes are on it. Is that necessarily, I mean, do you, and I get what you're saying, like it's pointless to just focus on that, but
y'all ain't going to see shit coming on Ethereum, are you? e-hex could pump overnight, double overnight, and you'd never see it coming.
Right.
Because you're watching the wrong places. And it's too busy of a city for you to ever see it coming.
Yeah.
PulseChain is a very, very small little ecosphere. When things and transactions happen over there, you're able to watch and track everything. But you know what? You ain't gonna see what comes in from Ethereum. You can watch the bridge, but guess what, guys? There's not just one bridge anymore. You're gonna have your work cut out for you before you get blindsided.
So do you think some of that money could be like, it sounds like this is what you said, but I mean, the fact that it's just out there demonstrating that he can hold it, demonstrating that we've got this money in this ecosystem. Do you think that will be the long-term purpose that, I don't want to call it like the carrot on a stick, that because obviously some people are thinking that this is all going to get injected or some.
What do people talk about though, Broke Boy? They talk about how many coins Michael Saylor holds, right? Don't they talk about how many coins Michael Saylor holds? Isn't it always about these? Michael Saylor would be nobody if he didn't hold that Bitcoin. Nobody cared.
Good point.
Why would Richard want to hold large amounts of Ethereum? To be a player, to be taken seriously by his peers. He demands respect. I demand respect, he says. Well, he's got to do things to demand his respect from his peers. We're not his peers. We're not his peers at all. He ain't coming to hang out with us. We ain't going to have burgers with him. Okay, we're not his peers. Okay, so plain and simple, you know, he is not doing this on a level of what random Joe Blow with his $50 in PulseChain wants him to do. He's doing this on a level to draw attention and draw larger market shares from larger investors. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to market to us. We're already here.
Yeah, we're here.
None of what you're watching Richard do has anything to do with you. If you're watching this video, anything Richard's doing right now has absolutely nothing to do with you. He is not even speaking to you anymore. You're already in. He doesn't need to speak to you. He doesn't need to answer your questions. He doesn't need to pat you on the shoulder and say it'd be okay. He doesn't have to do any of that. He is reaching for a broader market to bring more people to his chain, to have a productive chain that is successful so that everybody can be part of that successful chain. And that's going to take new people coming in, not everybody bitching, whining, and moaning about everything not going within the time frame that they want it to.
Well said. Yeah, I think that's something that everybody could take home. That they all think what he is doing and his actions are relevant completely to them and for their purpose. So I think it's lost on them that there's a bigger purpose out there. Yeah, DJ Moonboy wants to know, Johnny, what's in the cup? What are we drinking there tonight? We've got a
Jay Sputnik knows. Jay Sputnik guessed it right off the bat. No, it ain't diet. Do I look like I need to go on a diet? Y'all saying I'm thick?
Dr. Pepper.
Whoa, wait. So it is.
Y'all saying I'm thick? Am I extra husky or what?
Oh,
Here, I'm pulling the chin here a little bit for a beautiful picture.
Hot take, man. I would actually rather have diet. I used to be addicted to Diet Dr. Pepper when I was a kid. Yeah.
Thanks for the super chat, DJ Moonboy. We appreciate it.
Appreciate that, pal. Any final thoughts here, Ewok? Any other things you want to ask, or Johnny? Just final thing that we can leave everybody with tonight.
No, I did bring up this before we even started to Johnny. I said the more that I think about it, the more I think about things the way they are, I'm growing to like e-hex even more. You got a lot of situational things. A lot of people have sold. Bank X is out.
Yeah,
that was the cloud
They're better
over us
holders
for
than
so
most
long.
yeah, they stuck around.
They are better holders than a lot of people. Absolutely. So, yeah, it just, the more I think about it, the more I like it. It's a bargain. It's easier to find. People Google hex, they're going to get that one first. There's no doubt about it. So,
and
yeah.
You know what? Richard wouldn't be bitching about which chart is which if they both were the same damn chart.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter. And unfortunately, like I said, I really do think on the PulseChain side, it's artificially inflated as a base of founder bias. I think, the other side was artificially suppressed due to Bank X and the fear of look, everybody that's afraid that Richard might come out and FUD it again, why is he going to do more brand damage to himself? Because we've already seen how much damage that's caused. It doesn't make any sense. Then nobody would buy any hex at all. You literally have to say, okay, if he's going to cause more brand damage to hex, it's going to go across the board. It's going to damage both. So, and I think the people that are already reactive to what Richard says have already reacted to what Richard has to say. And the reality is, Hex did what it did on 20,000 stakers and a lot more volume than what we got going on right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And, a lot more was available on the market for people to buy. It's just not there. And a lot more people know about it today than they did back then. And when new people come in and old people want back in, they're going to be competing with the new people to get back in at the higher price points, and they're going to have much smaller bags. So everybody who left, your way back. We ain't worried about you. And if new people want to come in and take the positions and value it more than you, then you deserve the price that you get back. Know what you hold, value what you hold. All code is not created equal. This stuff is different.
Yeah, people just don't realize it. And my final point on that was there is becoming so little left that's for sale.
Yeah.
Things are going to happen quickly. It's going to take a lot of people by surprise.
Yep. And we're just waiting for it to happen. And then we can go, there it goes. You will know when it's ready to go because you'll know it's just gone.
Yeah.
It's like you're dragging your feet, Next thing you know, is, look, guys, you have the same kind of problem when you go into your grocery store. I just went to pick up a steak the other day. It was like $16 a pound for ribeye. I go back in there, it's $21 in ribeye. Well, guess what? That can happen in crypto even worse.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. Train's going to leave the station eventually. Meanwhile, we just buy and watch horror movies in the meantime. I mean, I think that's really all that we can do right now. So, this has been a great conversation. We reached out to Johnny this week because he's just been putting out some fire content on Twitter. Awesome stream with Corey Geary last week. Always happy to see Johnny around. He does take the slight reprieve and deletes the Twitter every now and then. Unfortunately, I wish you wouldn't do that. I'd rather you stay around.
Ewok can call me.
I have his number.
There we
He
go.
can call me.
I like the whiteboard. The whiteboard sessions have been awesome too, by the way.
Yeah.
Just good stuff all around. So
yeah,
thanks for.
I think it's really important for people to understand, not just theorizing on what they think will happen, but understanding the principles behind it and what causes it to function that way. When you're saying I just want a 10-to-1 ratio, you have to understand that means that 10 times more coins need to be in one side of the pool and not staked. And when everybody's staking, it's really hard to get an additional 10 times the amount of coins in that pool to support that ratio differential. And the other thing is with the ratios and being at such small price points, when you're talking 5,000s or 5/10,000ths of a dollar shift in e-hex price can change it from a 2-to-1 to a 3-to-1.
Yeah.
5/10,000ths of a dollar. So that's like what somebody buys $1,000 worth, and there goes your ratio ID out the window. So it's like really right now, I mean, it would solve so much. It would solve so much if it would have just been paired to begin with. Unfortunately, it wasn't. It's going to end up there because if it doesn't, you're not going to be able to maintain a premium on the PulseChain side. I'm sorry. That is the reality of it. Every other coin over there is not at a premium. It's a fraction of what it's worth over on Ethereum. It's strictly founder bias. It's strictly the fact that, you know, it was made for hex and hexagons, and the hexagons have already left and moved over there. That is the only reason why it is at a premium. And unfortunately, since they don't have an e-hex anymore and they're all in that side, that if there's a major sell-off, it's coming from that side. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just kind of the situation as it is right now. And the OA has the ability to set the prices or set the ratio anywhere it wants by backing it. So it can set them wherever it wants. The problem is it takes more coins to create a greater disparity and a greater premium on one side or the other. And the value out of it, you get no value out of it. The value would come from hex being just hex, and you lose the confusion, you lose the argument over which is better. It's just where do you want it? You want your hex in Chicago, or you want your hex over here on the island? Where do you want it? It's the same thing. You want to trade it, you can bring it over here, and then you can trade it for the other one, 1-to-1, no problem, right? If you want to move back, you can just trade it for the other one, and then you stop using USDC to go across chain. You can actually use that as the universal conduit between chains, right? If Richard wanted, he has enough money to stabilize it. If he wanted to push the price up because everybody keeps giving him back their coins because you keep exiting, you're losing it in liquidity pools, you're losing it back to the OA with your emergency unstaking. Everybody eventually runs out of coins. The price is going to have to go up. It's going to become like the Binance model where there's only 0.5% out there floating around, and Binance is just keep buying it all back. And then all of a sudden, like, oh my God, look at the coins pumping. Yeah, well, how many you got? 2?
Good stuff.
Good stuff, man. Well, we will wrap it up. We appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys have been awesome tonight. Appreciate all the support. Lots of you here. Hit the like on your way out. If you haven't done it yet, what are you doing? Hit the like button. We appreciate all of you being here. We do this every Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So like the video for Johnny. You can find him, of course, on Twitter at CCX Studios. Is that the handle?
CCFX Studios.
My bad. CCFX Studios. You can find Johnny Chaos and all of his content on there. So appreciate Johnny. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate Johnny. Appreciate Crypto Ewok. For these two gentlemen, this has been Broke Boy Crypto right here on the Creed of Crypto. See you guys.